Welcome back to our Advent journey following the path of Our Lady of Guadalupe and Saint Juan Diego. Here we are at the crossroads, the final moment of our journey, and in the last 4 days, today is number 23, and we will have day number 26. Yes, it's not technically Advent anymore, it'll be Christmas, but still, it's the great conclusion, so it's one more day. Don't lose us after day 25, please. Just stick around for one more day. And today we'll see how there's this big contrast in what comes into the heart of people. So we see, and the segment will offer us this just rich experience between what's going on in Juan Diego's heart, his mindset, his decisions, the servants' hearts, as well as Bishop Fray Juan's heart. So we'll see, let's dive just right into that and see what the segment offers us for today. When he arrived at the bishop's palace, he was met by the doorman and the other servants of the governing priest. He pleaded with them to tell the bishop that he wished to see him, but no one was willing. They would not listen to him, perhaps because it was still very dark, or perhaps because they already knew him, that he was just bothering them, annoying them, and their companions who had gone to follow him and lost sight of him had already told them about it. He spent a very long time waiting for an answer, and when they saw that he had been standing there for a long time, head bowed, doing nothing, just waiting to be called, and noticing that he was carrying something in the fold of his tilma, they finally approached to see what he had to satisfy their own hearts. When Juan Diego realized that there was no way he could hide what he was carrying, and that they would just bother him, push him, or maybe even hit him because of it, he showed them just a little bit of the flowers. And when they saw that they were all fine, varied flowers like those of Castile, and since it was not the season for them to be in bloom, they were greatly amazed at how fresh they were, with their corollas open, how beautiful and sweet-smelling, and they wanted to grab and take a few. And 3 times it happened that they tried to take them, but they could not do it at all, because when they made the attempt, they no longer saw the flowers, but rather saw them as if they were a painting or an embroidery or sewn into the tilma. Immediately, they went to tell the governing bishop what they had seen, and how the little native man who had come other times wanted to see him, and that he had been waiting there for a long time for permission, because he wanted to speak. And the governing bishop, as soon as he heard it, already knew in his heart that this was the sign he needed to be convinced, so that he could carry out the work the little man was requesting. He immediately ordered that he be allowed to pass and see him. Wonderful segment for today. I just want us to realize that Juan Diego is now this unbreakable warrior. He's willing to withstand the mischievous intentions of other people and not let himself be discouraged by that. He's waiting, he's convinced, and he also kind of outsmarts these people with this miraculous tilma, with these miraculous flowers in such a wonderful way. Now today is the day where we, as we said before, we see a huge contrast in human hearts. Remember, in spiritual terms as well as biblical terms, the heart is where the deepest desires and convictions live. It's where we take our decisions. Jesus would say that where your treasure is, there will also be your heart. Your heart, is the deepest place where the desires and dreams and aspirations that motivate us and move us, that's where they live. So in that sense, the contrast today is just unavoidable. It's so evident because first of all, we see Juan Diego. This little man, this guy is absolutely convinced that he must get to see the bishop and show him the Virgin's sign, and no matter what it takes. So they make him wait. They ignore him. He stands there patiently. His heart is completely full of the conviction to do God's will. He won't take no for an answer. Then we have these wicked servants. They've lied about him, made him wait for hours. The Nican Mopoa tells us that they approach him not out of awe or out of openness to listen to this native man's words, but it says to satisfy their own hearts. They have this evil sense of curiosity that wants to take advantage of a humble man, and they try to harass him and snatch the flowers. And just imagine if they had just succeeded. They would have stolen the sign, and Juan Diego's mission could have failed. Truly, the hearts of these men were infected with malice, and is so scandalous, especially to think that they were involved in the church somehow. Now, it's It's a relatively small malice, granted, but just satisfying a mean curiosity is no less toxic and no less hinderous to God's own purposes. Now, finally, we have Friar Juan de Zumárraga. Once he is told that Juan Diego has returned, he already knew in his heart, it also says that this was the sign he needed to be convinced. He knew it in his heart. Now, the mention of his heart is not incidental, it's critical at this climactic moment. His heart is now open and ready to be convinced. It's the fertile ground where the Guadalupe miracle can finally take place. I don't know about you, but whenever I've asked God for a sign and I'm just waiting for it to happen, the heart is open. We're open to seeing this miracle unfold in front of us. Now, these immense contrasts, Juan Diego and his humble missionary heart, the wicked servants with their toxic curiosity and evil heart, well, not the evil heart necessarily, but this hardened heart, and Friar Juan with an open heart, the fertile ground. This all allows us to see the just absolute importance of examining our hearts, scrutinizing the intentions we have in our heart. Now, by this point, we've walked a long way with Our Lady of Guadalupe. 23 days here. And we've seen God's miracles in our lives firsthand, and we've also gathered them, right? Remember, never take for granted these blessings that God has poured out in your life. Now is the moment when that internal reality has to manifest itself in an outward way. I'm talking specifically about those small, subtle attitudes in our lives that we cultivate every day. The way in which we treat others, our attitudes, our patience among the circumstances in life, our core hopes, everything that just plays an important role in our lives, that's a manifestation of these decisions and these motivations that are key of the treasures that we carry within our hearts. Now, my invitation to you is to thoroughly examine your heart. What's in your heart? See which concrete ways you might resemble Juan Diego, or you might resemble the servants. Let's hope not. And we might also resemble Friar Juan de Zumárraga. So, what's in your heart? What moves you? And if there's anything you need to change, lay that down before the Lord in prayer. Thank you so much for joining us on this 23rd day of our Advent journey, and we'll see you tomorrow. God bless. This podcast is brought to you by Juan Diego Network, a project by Juan Diego and Friends Incorporated, a nonprofit seeking to attract people on the internet to in-person Christian community and the sacraments. Visit JuanDiegoandFriends.com to check out our other missionary initiatives.